Okay, we're not quite sure what to call this. Spencer thinks we should call it Let's Brop about that. So we're going to talk moto here for just a little bit, and all things moto. It's the beginning of May, and all things are a lot of things are happening. Supercross just ended, which has been an awesome season. I've really enjoyed it. It was cool seeing kind of the underdog win. One of the things I bring up about Cooper Webb winning, which has been cool, is that there hasn't really been a guy that's had two really, I'd say, poor years on a 450 and has just leapfrogged himself up with just a team change like that to be a total, not only a contender, but a champion winner. So that was really cool and exciting, and both the 250F classes were really cool. So it was just a fun Supercross season. I enjoy watching. I watch it every Saturday night and love to watch it. So it was a really fun season. Looking forward to outdoor. I kind of enjoy outdoor more typically. So we're looking forward to that. And hopefully 250 class I think is pretty open. I think the Star Yamahas will be really good and tough to competition there with Justin Cooper, and Ferrandis. I think those are going to be the guys there. And then Cincerello on the Cowie. Got to be your top guys. We'll see if anybody else can get in there. And then see if Webb and Tomac, if Webb can keep Tomac honest, keep some pressure on him, and keep it close. Hopefully we'll see. So that's Supercross and wrap. And then a lot of new bike news is coming out. And the biggest new bike news is the KTM 2020. And it's the bikes that we're most concerned with are the XCs for 2020. They come with fuel injection, so they're TPI. Now, one of the things right away, everybody's like, oh, the fuel injection's way better and all that. First of all, for us, we're probably going to hold off and wait a little while they work out the bugs and stuff. This is a mandate that's coming from Europe that they have to switch these bikes to fuel injection. It's not because it's necessarily better. I'm not saying that someday it won't be better than carbureted bikes, but for right now, if we have Electron or a Kian on RXC, I'd put it up against any TPI bike. So it gives you a more conventional feel and how it rides and performs, and it's really good. There's been some comments, like I saw one by Dirt Bike Channel, Kyle, and he said that it was a big whiff by them to not add a Kickstarter, and I'd probably have to agree. So there's no backup Kickstarter, and I think the main reason for that, after talking to some guys I know, is that it adds weight, and the bike is already a bit heavy, and that surprisingly, the bike is actually heavier than my 350 XCF, and that would surprise you, right? But it is. So that's the main reason. Now, and what we do, we haven't had any problems with the electric starter. With the battery, you keep a good battery in there, we don't have any problems. With the battery backup. But I would still feel better if it had a Kickstarter, and I've always felt better that it's there. We've actually never needed it. On our 17, 18, 19s, we've never needed the Kickstarter. But I think it would be nice if it was there as a backup. As far as the rest of the bike goes, I would personally, if you have a 17, 18, or 19, I'd probably hold off and give it another year or two to see what other improvements come and so forth. Because the power valve adjustment is still quirky, and as you change the power valve, you're changing the mapping of the bike as well. So I would probably hold off on that myself. Now, if you don't have a 17, 18, or 19, have an older one, and you want to get a 300 or 250 XC, I wouldn't be scared to get one. I just think if it was me, I'd wait until they have more of it bugs worked out and more dialed in. So that's some thoughts there. Then last week we got to test ride our buddy Donnie's Talon, Honda Talon. These things are really cool, and we make fun of Razor guys and ATV guys that don't or can't ride dirt bikes, but this Talon is pretty rad. And I think if you're at a point where maybe you can't ride as much, or you want to go out with your wife, it's a pretty cool thing. They are very expensive. I call it 2 XCs, EXCs. 2 EXCs is what it would cost to buy one of those. So it's an expensive deal, but it was a blast, fun time. Actually, Rado, but I think Rado sounds better. But anyway, came out. He did actually tip it over. 3 other people drove it, no problems, myself included. He did tip it over and did a little damage. But really fun deal. We're going to follow that Talon through a few stages with my buddy Don. He's going to race it in the works races, that kind of stuff. So the next thing, the other kind of news is this bike right here. This has been a really fun build. This is an O2 YZ250. These bikes are, believe it or not, are very good and very similar to the 19 YZ250. Even though it has the steel frame, a lot of guys like this steel frame. The forks aren't quite as good as the newer forks, but still plenty good. and been a fun build. So we're going to shoot this with Racer X next week. So really fun build. Got the frame powder coated. Use a wrench rabbit kit on the engine. Got a really cool custom graphics here from Decal Works. This is an updated plastic kit from Polysport to dial the whole bike in. And San Diego Powder Coating does our powder coating out here in California. I did an amazing job. It looks gorgeous. Really cool deal. The other bike that we've been riding and just shot recently is the Honda CRF 250 RX. And this bike is to compete with Yamaha's FX and all the KTM XCFs. So a really good bike, and I really think this is a good category. Where Honda comes up a little short is compared to the XCFs, it isn't different enough, doesn't add a gear, they have different transmission ratios. That's one of the things that people are going to beat it up for. But it's a good bike, and we're looking forward to modifying it. We're actually going to be doing some modifications, adding a big bore kit and some other things, give it some more power, and be doing some more time on that bike. So that's been really fun. What else have we been doing? This winter we've still gotten, we keep getting rain into May, which is very rare for California. Other people in the country are like, what are you talking about? But the rain makes it really good riding for us. Everybody goes, oh, it's muddy, muddy. No, it's actually where we live and the areas we can go, it makes it really good conditions. Good traction, and we have these little hill tracks that we call them, where we can sneak out in little spots that some are more legal than others or less legal than others. And we have a really good time putting these tracks in. And we've gotten a little bit of late rain. So I've been able to do that a little bit on the 19 Yamaha YZ250F, which I really like, that Jamie twisted and modified the engine on. And then we've got a few rides out at Kuya lately, the last 2 weeks. I've gone out there like 3 or 4 times. Met up with Rado and another buddy of mine. Last Saturday, since Spencer was gone at school, we put together a ride. And one of the things I've noticed is I've been getting beat up for like over 2 years now. It's about I'd say 2 years. Yeah, 2 years that Spencer's been substantially, realistically faster than me. So I've had to just get beat every time. It's not a big deal, but then it's nice going with guys that are slow, or slower than me anyway. So it's kind of good for my ego to help me feel better about myself. Is that I can, it helps me feel better about myself that I can do some stuff, and I beat a few guys. So I had a fun time out there with Rado, and Pedro was our other guy that was out there. We had a good time at Kuya last week. And that's a really fun track out here in SoCal that we really enjoy. So good time with him as always. And we went on a trail ride with him earlier in the week as well, and on the new RX. And I took my 19300 XC also. So had some fun rides this week with him as well. A lot of new tires. We've been doing tires went out last week with Jody at Motocross Action. Did a bunch of tires for him, and a lot of these Racer X project bikes. So that's kind of a look at the last 2 weeks in our life of moto. Hopefully we can show you some more cool stuff soon. So stay tuned, and hopefully we'll see you out in the track or trail soon.
Comment below what you want this to be called.